All right, the big game is coming. This is a huge game. And, people are already saying if we lose, it's all over. If we win, some big thing's going to happen. Or even if we win, nothing's going to matter. The future's uncertain. The end is always near. Who knows what tomorrow is going to bring? But for me, it's all about this game coming up. It's all about the evals leading up to this game. And honestly, I hear a lot of talk about if we want to fix the things, we get rid of this guy, we get rid of this player, we get rid of. Really, it comes down to one thing. I'm going to deal with that later. It's probably next podcast or the one after that. Actually, the next one's going to be the matchups between the Jets and the Dolphins. And you'll see here with the injury report, while there's a hit on us, it looks like there could be a lot more hits for the Jets and open the door for us to get that win. It looks like if the Kansas City Chiefs win, we go to them. And if they lose to the Raiders, then we're going to go to the Bills if we beat the Jets. So I'm going to get into a whole string of news that I found interesting. And then I'm going to get into this injury report to because I can't really do the matchups until this injury report gets totally cleared up, which will be later on today. So before I get into that, I want to do what I always do, say thank you for stopping by. Without you guys, this show is not going to happen. It's just not. You guys, for all the comments, the likes, the subscribes, the views, everything. I appreciate everything you do. But I want to give a shout out to Ace Bread, my sponsor, because without you and without them, surely this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so here's the injury report as we see it now. For the Dolphins, Teron Armstead has missed 2 practices, and he's the kind of guy who can come in Friday, play, and still be good. He's just that good. It's a shame that this injury thing has plagued his career because he would be a Hall of Famer if not. So we got to find out if he's in or not. That's huge. Looks like Skylar's going to start. We saw Skylar go against the Jets the last time. He had Teron for like the first quarter or so, and then he lost him. So we really want Teron in there. If Skylar's there, it looks like Teddy will be the backup. He's got dislocated pinky. I don't think he's starting. Looks like Howard's going to play, but he's been on a limited basis for 1 practice. Chubb, limited practice. He doesn't have the cast now. At least he'll be able to kind of use his digits in order to affect the pass rush or a tackle. So it's really there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I'll get into it later. So for us, that's the big key. Lamb, he's not going to play. Again, we signed another offensive lineman, which is crazy. We keep picking guys up off the streets to fill this. We picked up like 3 or 4 guys to fill the spot when we had nobody in the background, but that's for something else. So the key, though, for us and this win, for those who want us to win, is the Jets. Now, Mike White was downgraded to limited after being full. It could be just to rest those ribs. He could come back today, have a limited or full, and still start. If not, it's the Flaquito. But we'll get into all that. But the key for me on this injury list is Dwayne Brown missed 2 practices. He's another guy who can come in on Friday and still play. But then they also have George Fant. He missed 2 practices with a knee. And so if you have both those guys out and maybe Flaquito, it really puts the onus on this pass rush that we spent so much for to finally dial it in, drive it home, take this win. And if not, there should be great concerns. Because if you don't have Dwayne Brown or Fant or one of them, even if you have both of them, they're both going to be nicked up. But if you're missing 1 or 2, and you got Flaquito back there, and you got Chubb playing with Phillips and Wilkins and Sealer and Van Ginkel and Ingram, and you're not driving it home. Now, we're like top 10 in sacks. We're top, I believe it's 17 in pressures. We're high on hurries, around 7th, I think. But our problem is that we blitz 5th most. And our secondary is allowing 5th best 67.1% completion percentage. So it's not that we're not getting there. It's we're not getting there quick enough, and part of the reason is because of the secondary. But this is a game where that pressure should get there quick enough that the secondary does not come into play if these things are in play. They've got a tough receiving group. And if they're in and they could buy some time, it could get ugly. But it does look a little bit like it's trending towards our direction. Now, a long way from here today, even if we win this game and we go and get blown out by the Bills or blown out by KC, I guess you can get some hope out of it. Still doesn't feel enough. But we'll see how it plays out. Got to evaluate week to week. Hopefully, we got at least 2 more weeks of evaluation. So let me get into the news. You got, I can see right here, Joe Shad. Dolphins, DC, Josh Boyer cites miscommunication and guys not aligned right on the Pats TD pass to wide receiver covered by LB. Boyer says it starts with him. Now, I like Boyer for doing this. It starts with him. I've seen some other coaches talk about how it's not them and it's other guys. And even if it is or isn't, our leader steps up. I'm not saying Boyer should stay. I'm not saying Boyer is an ace, but I am saying this is a sign of a stand-up guy, and I like it. But I see some other stuff coming out from other coaches that is concerning. It is concerning. Again, I'm not a Boyer guy. I'd rather have Fangio in here or somebody else because I just really don't like the zero, and I don't think he's great, but that's a stand-up guy. So I now want to give a shout out to another stand-up guy. Dolphins fullback Ingold is a warrior. He played against New England 6 days after thumb surgery. When asked if Joe needs to tell Skylar not to throw it to him, again with a club on his hand, Ingold smiled. We walked through that one a couple times. If I leak out, I'd better be wide open. Ingold, he's not the blocker that I want, even though sometimes he does have some nice blocks. He does. But this is a good player, good pickup. I love the fact that he came back from it's tough playing in an NFL game with a messed up finger 6 days after surgery. So I want to give him kudos to him and a shout out because that's a tough guy. So veteran NFL tackle Garon Christian replaces IR-bound Eric Fisher on the 53. Christian has started 16 NFL games. NFL's top 3 LTs are hurt. Armstead status very much in question for Sunday. Lamb likely out. Fisher season over before it started. This is bad. We did not have starters because Eichenberg and Jackson are not NFL starters at the moment. And we really had no depth anywhere. We were relying on Little. And we keep trying to find anybody else but him. So he asks himself, why did we keep him? This is a little concerning. Gotta pray that my man Tehran shows up. Now, Dolphins, this was a little interesting. Dolphins TE coach John Embry says he's learned football is important to hunt along. Says was a time he wondered about that. Embry is needed long to focus on preparation. Now, interesting stuff. A TE coach John Embry on hunt along. Football is important to him. There were times I wondered about that. Sometimes wondered about preparation, how hard he prepared. Can he be trusted to replace Gesicki or is a vet? That was Jackson's little add-on. This is bad news. This guy's terrible. I mean, Smiley was taken in the 4th round and had much earlier impact. But you ask yourself whether he has football as his deep passion and focus or not. Why do you let it leak out to the media? Because from now on, this kid's going to hear, is football really important to you? Are you preparing hard enough? I don't understand why the coach would say this. It really, even if it's true, it's going to create a little bit of divide. It seems a little bit like, well, it's not my fault. This kid's got problems. It's throwing somebody on the bus, whether they deserve it or not. A leader doesn't do that. And it really gets that feel. I talked about it last year, how in the first and second stage, you get a bunch of guys. They all have the Warriors code of honor. They all kind of supporting each other, backing each other. But as things get really ugly in the NFL, you get the third stage where it's the rats getting off the ship and everybody's stabbing each other in the back. And it's kind of getting that feel. Hunt is terrible. He should never have been taken in the 3rd round. It doesn't make any sense. Gesicki's a better athlete, better catcher, and just about as good a blocker. But Gesicki's going to walk for nothing, and we're going to be strapped with a third-round pick who has questionable desire for the NFL. This is not good. So then we got the ping pong table thing back. Remember, McDaniel crazily said his leadership got rid of it, and then all of a sudden Hill comes back with the ping pong table. He says, I want to get a new one. First off, how does Hill bring the ping pong table back after his coach says that? Second off, how does the coach say that without confirming it? But now the ping pong table's been taken out. We see here Miami's ping pong table has been removed from the heart of the team's locker room ahead of Week 18 finale. The Jets will, with a playoff spot potentially on the line. This is stupid stuff, but it's really starting to rise. All this little stuff that the media is lining up. And it seems like some people in the background are lining up heads to fall if things don't work out. And I'm going to keep going with that. Something really weird's going on. This is the last one. I'm saving this for last. It's O.C. Smith, who I'm kind of done with this guy now. Really, I've heard enough from him. That's really ridiculous. First was, any idiot could watch the tape and film and realize we should have ran more. We should have had different kind of calls in the San Fran game and 5.4 yard per carry defense of the Chargers. We didn't run enough. But he came out and said it really wasn't, we didn't look at the tape and say, well, we could have, called better, scheme better. It was execution. That was strike one. Strike two was, it's really a hard decision between Eichenberg and Jones. And I was like, I hope he's just massaging this guy's ego. But he started. You saw him play. It was one of the worst performances of the season. I did video on it up close so you could see this was a disastrous performance. But we got more from O.C. Smith, who at this stage, he's got to do a lot to turn me around to him because I really want to see him walk. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of things from him. Dolphins O.C. Smith thought Liam Eichenberg had been doing some good things before the injury, and they didn't think he should lose his job due to injury. Liam working on some things fundamentally and have been out for a while, need to regain rhythm. I want to get to the rest of them. First off, the whole concept of not losing your job to injury is that you've actually earned the job to begin with. Liam never earned the job. He was given to him, just like it was given to Jackson. And he was terrible. He's one of the worst guards in the league. He's terrible unless he's absolutely protected and he's got Tehran next to him. So you're telling me that one of the worst guards in the league is going to get his job back and you're going to get rid of Jones, who's actually doing some good things in an absolutely critical game that if you win it, you'll control your destiny. That's what you're telling me. And then he says, well, Liam's working on things fundamentally and having been out a week needs to regain his rhythm. So you go into a critical game without a guy having rhythm. This is one of the most moronic statements I've ever heard. And either A, Smith is being told from the top and he's just trying to find something to justify the moronic decision, or he is incapable of just making good decisions on the offensive line. And it's something very serious. It's adding to the things I've talked about previously. So Dolphins staff believes you don't lose your job because of injury. Dolphins OC indicated that when asked about Liam replacing Rob Jones last Sunday, Liam admitted he was rusty. So Liam admitted he was rusty. He was terrible to begin with. You're going into a critical game and you decide to stick with Liam over Jones and you lose 2-point game and you run inside zone, which is a strength of Jones through the course of the game as your main game plan. This is unbelievable. Smith is either totally trying to find a way to worm his way out because he's being controlled from the top again, or he's incapable. So that's really it. That is absolutely one of the worst responses. Liam, he did some good things. He gave up 7 pressures. He had a 36 overall rating. He was rusty, according to you, or according to Liam, and he needed more rhythm, according to Smith. But you still decide to put him in this absolutely critical game when you got Teddy Bridgewater back there, and you're going to need a heavy run game, and you decide to run the football heavy. This is this is grounds for getting rid of people because, I mean, either they are incompetent or the brass is running the show. And this will go back to my main point. We can fix this whole thing. There's plenty of pieces on this team. It's very easy to fix. It's not a short-term fix, but this thing could be fixed very easy with some competency. It really could be. But the problem is, you're going to hear from the media, you're going to hear from a lot of people about talking downstream. You've got to start upstream, repair the top of the stream, and then work your way down. And this, if this is O.C. Smith's evaluations, he's got to go. Got to go. And if he's being controlled at the top, then he's being set up to look like a schmuck and set up for failure. And that even redirects us harder to the top. We can win this game. But if Tehran's not in and you got Little over there and Eichenberg and we lose, everybody should get fired. Somebody's got to step up and say, no, this is a bad football decision. I don't care if my career here is online. Because the reality is these people are getting put into the front to be the ones to make the call. And when it fails, they're going to take the bag of trouble anyway. Exasperating. Anyway, guys, I really, I got this little thing going here. I'm going to go back to the other side. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth. I got a bunch of stuff I want to try to add for you guys. I'm going to do a little podcast kind of like this, but send it out to subscribers. Because I'm so grateful for you guys do. So I'll get that to you next week. Some commenters had some really great ideas about putting stuff and implementing it in. So guys, here we go. I have like one or maybe two before we go into this big game. And then it's going to change everything if we lose. If we win, it's going to be a holding pattern. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So get ready for the big game. We can do it. It's not over. And even if it is over, truthfully, things can be fixed really quick. The problem is it's going to take a change of direction from the people at the top who've proven to be stubborn. And that's the most concerning thing. Anyway, this is Curtis saying thanks for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. Catch you next time. Be well. Go Phins. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.